secondary results. This is where ideas forge innovation, dreams unleash opportunities, and contenders become champions. How far do you want to go? The University of Alabama, where legends are made.
The views expressed in the following program do not necessarily represent the views of the staff and management of WVUA 23.
Bringing you analysis and insight into the Crimson Tide. Your Crimson cover hosts, John Copeland, Mike Parker, and Chase Goodbread. Sponsored by Burnham Hahn and by Crimson Village.
Welcome into Crimson Cover Television on WVUA 23. I'm Chase Goodbread, sports columnist with the Tuscaloosa News, joined as always by former Alabama All-American defensive end John Copeland. Mike Parker not able to be with us again tonight. He sends his apologies. Mike's going through some health issues these days. Every single week he is battling to get back in here. We're hoping to see him next week and certainly as soon as possible. John and I will get you home, though. We got a lot going on here on CCTV. We're going to wrap up that Alabama basketball season. Spring football preview takes a look at the Alabama special teams. We'll talk Jahmyr Gibbs, the transfer running back from Georgia Tech, who's making some waves in spring practice. Offensive changes on the for Alabama football around Bryce Young. We'll hear from the Alabama quarterback on that. What's coming up next for the Alabama basketball team? How do things look for Nate Oates' team in the 2022-23 season? We'll touch on that as well. We begin, though, with a look back at Alabama's disappointing loss to Notre Dame in the NCAA Tournament. The final score, 78-64, and we go to the highlights. The Crimson Tide did not play well in this one at all, and it started off in awful form with Javon Quinterly going down with a pretty serious knee injury just 3 minutes into the game. John, that's your point guard. That's a guy you cannot afford to lose. Now, Alabama had not been playing very well even with Javon Quinterly, but to lose him was big.
You know, once I saw Quinterly go down, Chase, I figured, okay, this ball game is over. But there was spurts within the ball game. I thought, okay, we got a chance. We need Ellis to step up. We need Davis to step up. We need Rohan to start making some plays. We need Bediako to start defending the basket. Flashes, but not enough. I think at some point, once the leader went down, everybody on that basketball team just kind of packed it in, and it was over from that point.
Here's what you lose with Quinterly, in my opinion. You lose your best ball handler. You lose your best penetrator, right? You lose your quickest guy on the floor. You lose a great deal.
But Chase, my thing is, everybody on that basketball team that was playing in that game have a scholarship. You're here on scholarship, which means you're a good basketball player. I don't mind losing. I mind losing in the fashion that we lost. Seemed like to me there was everybody looking for somebody else to do it, as opposed to stepping up and getting the job done themselves.
Leadership's been an issue for this team all season long.
No question about it.
And just poor shooting's been an issue all season long. Credit to Notre Dame, though. Cormac Ryan, the Notre Dame guard, scored 29 points. He was unbelievable. I think he was 10 out of 13 from the field. Hit 7 3-pointers against Alabama. Notre Dame, John, sometimes you just got to give credit where it's due. They shot the lights out. They were over 50% from the field. They were over 60%.
They shot the lights off because we played awful defense. The defense was awful, Chase.
It was no. I'm not going to give you that. Look, the defense could have been better. I'm not going to credit Alabama's defense for giving up almost 80 points. But look, this Cormac Ryan, he wasn't dropping those threes with his toes 2 inches from the line. He was dropping a couple of them threes several feet from the three-point line. So, at some point, you just got to tip your hat.
If I'm coaching, if I'm on the sideline, you identify the shooter. And you deny the shooter the ball the best as you can. And when the shooter get the ball in his hands, you are up in his stuff, no matter where he is on the court. I just never saw that from the Alabama defense.
I thought, to me, I thought the issues for Alabama were more about offense in this game, and not that the defense was great.
It's always about defense, in my opinion.
Of course, you're a defensive guy. But look, they couldn't get to the hole without Quinterly, like you would hope. Shackelford, I thought, struggled at times. No one was hitting the three-pointers consistently. They were playing from behind. A lot of standing around on offense, probably is not as much movement as you'd like to see. And just a disconnected effort all the way around for Alabama. But that's what they've been doing. They lost their last 4 games, John. Blown out by Texas A&M at home in their last home game. Then they turn around and lose to LSU in overtime on the road. Then it's a loss to Vanderbilt in their first game in the SEC tournament. They follow that up, blown out by Notre Dame in the NCAA tournament. So this team was talented, but it went out with an absolute whimper. They finished the year, John, 19-14. All right? And when you throw, and not every non-conference game was against a great team. They made the tournament back in December when they beat Gonzaga.
There's no question about that.
And they beat Houston. They beat, that's when they made the tournament. Down the stretch, they were 9-9 in the SEC. It was not pretty, and they played like they have been playing, with or without Quinterly. I think they probably lose, as much as they miss Quinterly, in my opinion, they lose that game with him or without him.
Look, the thing is, these are 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old kids, all right? And they don't get a pass for being 19, 20, 21-year-old kids. They do not get a pass for that. But attitude is a reflection of leadership. Whatever it took to get this team where it was, it start at the top. It's not because these kids, they played bad on defense. It's not because they took back shot. It's leadership. Players, coaches, and everything above that. And it wasn't there this year.
Apart from Alabama, what a terrible showing, by the way, for the SEC as a whole in the NCAA tournament, though, John. Teams bowing out left and right. You had Kentucky get knocked out by St. Peter's first round of the tournament. That was a real stunner. LSU out, Alabama out, all in the first round. Then it's Tennessee and Auburn going out, second round. Arkansas, as we record here this evening, still alive, the last SEC team left in this tournament for what I thought was an outstanding year for SEC basketball in the regular season. It was a disaster in the tournament.
Kentucky was I was really shocked by the Kentucky defeat. But other than that, this is SEC, baby. Where's the football? Roll the football out there. I mean, we did our best. Basketball is good. It's a good distraction from football in the spring, but the football, baby.
All right, we got a little bit of a look ahead toward Alabama basketball later in the show, but we're going to break for now, and when we come back, we're going to be talking Alabama football. Stick around. You're watching CCTV on WVUA 23.
Burnham Hahn Exterminators offers termite and pest control solutions for residential and commercial customers in the West Alabama area. Family owned and operated, now in its 3rd generation, we stay up to date with the latest advancements in the pest control industry to protect your family and home from pests. We're an authorized operator of the Centricon baiting system. Burnham Hahn Exterminators, here when you need us. Call us today for your complete termite and pest control services.
Everyone has a story. From simple observations to extraordinary circumstances, the people around us have compelling stories to share. Stories of leadership and dedication, of opportunities that inspire others, of accomplishments and experiences that encourage, teach, and point toward the future. These are the people and stories making an impact at Shelton State Community College. And together, this is our Shelton Statement. Begin yours today.
Life doesn't wait for when your finances are in perfect order. It just happens. From the big steps to the little ones. You deserve to feel good about whatever life brings your way. So no matter what comes up, you can count on Alabama Credit Union to help make it affordable. We'll take care of the details while you stay focused on the things that matter most to you. Alabama Credit Union. Loans for real life.
Experience West Alabama's culinary excitement at the 8th Annual West Alabama Food and Wine Festival. Presented by Tuscaloosa Toyota and Coca-Cola. April 7th at the Tuscaloosa River Market. We're bringing together a mouth-watering blend of top chefs, food enthusiasts, brewers, and wine vendors, all to benefit the West Alabama Food Bank. Buy your general admission or VIP tickets today at westalabamafoodandwine.org.
Welcome back to Crimson Cover Television. This segment brought to you by Burnham Hahn Exterminators and that great local service in Tuscaloosa since 1946. Burnham Hahn offering complete pest control services for residential or commercial needs, mosquito control, fire ant treatments, and licensed operators of the Centricon Termite Colony Elimination System. You got to have that year-round service for termites if you're a homeowner. So call Clay Hahn and his staff. They'll get you started with a monthly, bi-monthly, or quarterly pest control program. Reach them at 553-4433 or visit burnhamhahn.com. All right, John, we move on to football for the middle segment of the show. Crimson Tide. Now, we've previewed the offense. We previewed the defense. We kind of closed things out looking at Alabama's special teams coming back. Will Reichard comes back for his last year as the kicker. He has been outstanding for the Crimson Tide. Alabama fans are going to miss him when he goes, given some of the kicking struggles that the Crimson Tide has had over the years. Will Reichard certainly has fixed that. He's back for one more year. James Burnham back as the punter. He wasn't too great last year, John. Averaged about 39 and a half yards a kick, if I'm not mistaken. So the competition at that position, it may be hot this spring and this fall, but Burnham is back again for another season. Remains to be seen if he's the starter. And then the return man, Jamison Williams, who we've talked about a lot on this show, what they're losing in him as a receiver. He was a big-time kickoff returner last year as well. I think he had at least a couple returns for touchdowns. Dangerous guy back there. No word yet. Hard to say who's going to be the kickoff returner, although Jahmyr Gibbs, the transfer from Georgia Tech, he might be a possibility. He returned kicks for the Yellow Jackets. And, John, here's a look at this kid, Jahmyr Gibbs, the transfer from Georgia Tech. A lot of explosiveness on this kid. We're going to be talking about him.
Who was that? Auburn they was playing? If it was Auburn, it don't count. That was awful. They suck.
Jahmyr Gibbs here with a return. This guy he's fast, he's quick. Nick Saban had some interesting things to say that we're going to bring you here in just a minute.
Chase, the thing about when you think about a football game.
That was Virginia, I think, they were playing against, by the way, but go ahead.
When you think about a football game, and you think about offense, you think about defense, you think, okay, those two units have to play well to win the football game. But if you really want to win a football game, you win the turnover battle, and you win the special team battle. If you have an outstanding kicker, field goal pointer, you got an outstanding kickoff return guy, punt return guy, you can swing the game in your favor just on special team. And there's a lot more games won and lost on special team than I think people realize.
Is it truly, as you hear coaches say all the time, and sometimes coach speak, you're a coach, so I guess I'll call you out. Sometimes coach speak is garbage. I can't stand to hear some of it.
What do you mean by that?
Sometimes coaches lean back on comments that are outdated, that are archaic, that are all right. Is special teams really 1/3 of the game? I mean, come on.
No question about it. Chase, listen to me. If you're playing bad on offense, all right, and you say you're playing pretty good on defense, and they kick the ball to you and you return it for a touchdown, that's offense you wasn't counting on. That's changed. That switched the whole ball game.
I get that. Returns, punt returns, kickoff returns.
That is what they're talking about, along with field position.
There are game-changing plays.
No question about it.
But how many special team snaps are there in a football game compared to offensive snaps and defensive snaps? That's why I have a hard time.
It depends on how bad your offense is playing or how good your defense is playing. If your offense is playing bad, then you're going to punt the ball a lot.
But I'm talking about snap counts. How many snaps in a football game are special team snaps compared to offense? It's not even close.
But that's why it's so important, because it can change the game in 1-2 snaps. It can change the entire ball game.
And sometimes it doesn't mean a darn thing. Sometimes offense and defense is what does it all. I mean, it's not like kickoff returns and punt returns go for touchdowns every week, John.
But as a coach, if you go into a game thinking, okay, special team don't mean a darn thing, you're going to lose every single doggone time. Because a big play on special team not only changed the ball game, but it's a morale booster or a morale letdown. If I give up a punt return for a touchdown, the air just got let out the whole team.
You know how often punt returns go for touchdowns, kickoff for all? It's rare. You're talking about it like it happens every week.
That's why they're important. That's why they're important. You work extremely hard to get that unicorn. You work all you can work to get that unicorn. It's rare, but it changes the entire outlook of the football game.
I'm not saying it's unimportant.
Think about this.
I'm not saying it. Don't pigeonhole me.
But look, think about this. You can go back and look at the entire last 3 seasons of Alabama. I guarantee you, every time they have scored a special team touchdown, they have won that game.
Alabama's a better football team than almost everybody they play.
Any game, any team. Pick any team. I don't care. Pick Alabama State. If they scored a special team touchdown, they have won that game.
You're not hearing me.
Anybody.
You're not hearing me.
I don't think you're hearing me.
All right. We've gotten off track here a little bit. That's okay. We do that on Crimson Cover sometimes.
We're on the right track. We're on the right track.
Nick Saban with some comments on Jahmyr Gibbs, the aforementioned transfer from Georgia Tech, who might be running kickoffs back on special teams for Alabama this fall. We'll wait and see on that. Here's what Saban had to say about Gibbs.
Oh, he has really been a very good addition, to our team. He's got great speed. He's really a good receiver, good third down back. He's got great vision. He's got really good burst out of a cut. I'm really, really impressed with what he's been able to do. He's smart. He's picked up things. He's an experienced player. So, he really does a good job of understanding what we're trying to do and how to do it.
There you have it from Alabama coach Nick Saban on Jahmyr Gibbs. The running back situation for Alabama, some new faces for sure. Brian Robinson moving on. Gibbs could be in the forefront. If not, could be Chase McCullough or Roydell Williams, who will be coming back from knee injuries. Both of those guys are limited in spring practice.
Chase, when Coach Saban said the same thing about Williams last year, about how he have stepped into a role, how he's picked up the offense, the kid ended up being phenomenal. I think when Nick Saban say these kind of things about a player, that this player may end up being special.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Gibbs is going to make a big difference this fall for Alabama. All right. It's going to do it for this segment. Stick around. We got one more segment to go here on Crimson Cover. You're watching WVUA 23.
It's good to know that in this impersonal world, there's still a local home-owned drugstore that can take full care of you and your family. The good folks at Northport Pharmacy. Owner and pharmacist Rob Colburn will personally see that all of your prescriptions are quickly and accurately filled and your questions answered. And be sure to check out their gift gallery for the finest in gift selections featuring Alabama merchandise, photo frames, children's clothing, beachwear, jewelry, and more. Remember, when you have pharmaceutical needs, see the man who will take the time to get to know you. Rob Colburn at Northport Pharmacy, located next to CC's Pizza, Highway 82 in Northport.
Burnham Hahn Exterminators offers termite and pest control solutions for residential and commercial customers in the West Alabama area. Family owned and operated, now in its third generation, we stay up to date with the latest advancements in the pest control industry to protect your family and home from pests. We're an authorized operator of the Centricon baiting system. Burnham Hahn Exterminators, here when you need us. Call us today for your complete termite and pest control services.
First, take a regulation United States Marine obstacle course. The same course every Marine has to master in order to earn the title. Add wooded trails. Make it hard, make it muddy. Throw in competitors. A little blood, a little sweat, a little tears, but also a lot of fun. It's a recipe for freaking greatness. Do you have the guts? Tuscaloosa Gauntlet, April 9th. Be there.
I love the genuine love Mrs. Egan has for her students. She's always texting my father to let him know about my progress. She loves her students as if we were all her own children.
I'm very grateful that the students see that.
Thank you, Miss Egan.
Thank you very much. This means a whole lot to me. Thank you.
Stephanie Egan, WVUA 23's featured teacher winner, sponsored by Shelton State and Bryant Bank.
We want to hear your good news stories and be a bright spot. Join WVUA 23 on Thursdays and help us shine a light on what's good in our community.
Welcome back to Crimson Cover Television. This final segment brought to you by Crimson Village, the most active and fun-loving aging adult community in Tuscaloosa. Residents there enjoy the finest dining and lifestyle experience with outstanding amenities. John and I have seen the amenities over there. It is incredible. Right off of Veterans Memorial Parkway behind Crimson Care. Crimson Village offers 3 levels of care, including the Tide Memory Care Program. They take the highest of precautions with COVID-19. Call transition specialist Tim Eads at 632-6699 or visit crimsonvillage.com. And remember, Crimson Village owns fun. All right, John, top of the final segment, we go back to Alabama basketball. Kind of look ahead a little bit to the next season for Nate Oates, and it's a lot of transition. It's a lot of roster upheaval. That's really how it is all over college basketball now, though, John, with the transfer portal being what it is. Pretty much every coach in the country is retooling a brand new team, it seems like, every year. No different for Nate Oates, though. You've got Shackelford and Keon Ellis, obviously, moving on for the Crimson Tide. Javon Quinterly is going to be moving on as well. So 3 of your top 4 guards are gone. Transfer portal news, by the way, John, 2 forwards who were on the bench for Alabama this season, Alex Chiku and Keon Ambrose Hilton. They're moving on. They're in the transfer portal. They could always withdraw and come back. That's how the portal works. But for now, we'll assume that they're going to be moving on as well. So a lot of changes, a lot of movement, John.
I don't care. I don't care. If that's the product that's going to be on the floor next year, I don't care.
New blood.
I don't care. Until you show me, and I said the same thing about Avery Johnson, until you show me something that I can get behind and believe in, I really don't care. And that's just the way I feel. Could be right or wrong.
Number 1 point guard in the country going to be coming in, John. Jaden Bradley, big-time recruit, 5-star guy. He could be taking over the point guard duties, so that'll be something to watch for sure. Others to watch in terms of incoming freshmen, Brandon Miller, Noah Clowney, a JUCO signee by the name of Nick Pringle will be coming in. Also a shooting guard, Rylan Griffin. But what's what's going to be interesting, John, is to see J.D. Davison, and we'll talk more about him in the mailbag, but he's got a chance to be the leader on this team with all these other guys moving on. What are your thoughts on Davison as a freshman?
I told you.
Get out of here.
I don't care. I don't care. Look, until they show me something. Look, last year I thought we make strides. The team last year was fun to watch. I thought those guys went out and they laid it on the line. That's what I like. I thought that's what it was going forward. But this team.
I'm asking you what you think of Davison's game. His game. I'm not talking about the team here.
I think the kid will be okay.
All right. Crimson Cover Ticker. Moving on to that now. A little bit of news for you around the National Football League. Former Alabama offensive lineman Bradley Bozeman signs with the Carolina Panthers. Jaron Reed, ex-Alabama defensive lineman, signs with the Green Bay Packers. And finally, Cam Sims signs with the Washington Commanders. Guy's going into his 5th year in the NFL now, John, and didn't play much at all for Alabama. Got a little bit of play. He's probably played more football in the NFL than he did in college at this point.
Yeah.
But he's sticking around, and they like him. So there you have it. All right, the mailbag now. We turn to that. Greg from Birmingham wants to know, is J.D. You got to engage here, John. Is J.D. Davison really considering turning pro? Of course, the freshman Alabama point guard.
He's getting bad advice if he is.
There's two ways of looking at it. Is he ready versus will he go? If the money's there, doesn't matter if he's ready. He's gone. Anybody else would go. If he's going to be a first round pick.
But if he's not ready, how's the money going to be there?
Happens all the time.
But who? Name one. Name one. Name one.
I don't need to name one.
Name one. They go.
There's busts.
There's a lot that go, but the money is not there.
You think there aren't first-round busts?
Yeah, but he's not a Greg Oden. He's not just tearing up college basketball.
Oh, no, of course not.
So the money's not going to be there.
I agree. I don't think he's going to get the draft projection that's going to tell him I need to go pro. I think J.D. Davison, whether he's to answer the question, I don't know how strongly he's considering it or not. I do know that when he gets his NBA projection, his draft intel from scouts, general managers, help from Nate Oates, wherever it comes from, I think he'll be back at Alabama. He's got too much of his game needs work.
I don't even know why this is a question. There's no question in my mind that this kid is coming back. If he doesn't, then he is getting some really, really bad advice.
Greg from Birmingham with the question in this week's mailbag. If you want to jump in with a mailbag question, go to crimsoncover.com, click the mailbag icon. We'll answer your question on the air if we can. So there you have it. Yeah, I agree with you, John. J.D. Davison, he's not ready. There's a lot more polish on his game that needs doing. So we'll see what happens with it. He'll probably put his name out there and then maybe withdraw it. We see that sometimes too.
Yeah.
For John, I'm Chase. We'll see you next time on Crimson Cover.
The Holiday Inn Express Hotel and Suites in Tuscaloosa invites you to come and experience our award-winning hotel and exceptional hospitality. We are located just minutes from the Alabama campus and area shopping. If it's business, shopping, groups, or family that bring you to town, call us to book your stay. Once you have stayed with us, you'll understand. We welcome you as our guests, and you depart as our friends. The Holiday Inn Express.
Welcome to Baseball Country, a ministry in West Alabama that reaches far outside the diamond. We create opportunities for people of all ages and backgrounds to encounter Jesus. From baseball and softball training for high school to the big leagues, to men's and women's team sports camps, men's and women's ministry, youth mentored hunts, service projects, custom retreats, and so much more. If you want to get in the game, email sam@baseballcountry.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
As you go about your day, you'll want to know what's happening to keep you ahead. WVUA 23 is all new and keeps you connected to the stories that affect you. Log on to get the latest breaking news, weather, and sports. Enjoy our redesigned look, faster speeds, easier to find features, and more.